Welcome to Are You Real? The Psyche of Success, helping you break through the mental roadblocks that keep you from achieving your dreams. Through direct lessons, as well as our insightful dialogue with industry thought leaders and influencers, we can unlock your full potential to the authentic you. Now please welcome your host, Jody Holland.
I am with Javier Flores today, and Javier and I met a little over a year ago. But he is a first-generation college student who overcame poverty through the power of obtaining not one, not two, 3 college degrees. He's the youngest of 4 children, whom were all reared in the West Texas region. The family once lived in an abandoned school building, which was a segregated school for Hispanic students in Sonora. In 1987, he graduated from Sonora High School. Then he earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in Political Science, a Master of Arts in Educational Administration, and then a Doctorate of Education in Higher Education. Graduated in the lower half of his high school and was once academically suspended from Texas Tech. He now serves as the Vice President for Student Affairs and Enrollment at Angelo State University, and he is an amazing guy at creating a student-first environment. I've seen firsthand some of the things that he's done at ASU, and it is awesome. One of the things that intrigued me is that you are also an avid runner. You are training for your 4th marathon, and you hope to compete in the race with a Boston Marathon qualifying time, which is a pretty impressive time. My dad ran a couple of half marathons, but never made it to the full one. Flores is the co-chair for the San Angelo Chamber of Commerce P16 Council, serves a statewide committee analyzing the effectiveness of dual credit, and also serves on a Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board Committee evaluating emergency loans and food and housing insecurities. Javier is a member of the Friday Rotary of San Angelo and Glen Meadows Baptist Church. He's married and has 1 son. So quick question, even though you're a Baptist, can you dance?
I can. I grew up Catholic, so of course I can dance.
There you go. Awesome. I grew up Methodist. I call that Catholic light.
I agree.
So, well, I am glad to be on with you, and just kind of a couple of other little things. Javier, you're the one that kind of was pushing to have the new student orientation and the new student camps at Angelo State, and I participated as the motivational speaker last year for the very first one, and I had a blast. So,
well, we were so excited that you came, and Jody, and certainly, it was our first camp. And what we were trying to do is we were trying to get students to connect with other students and create those networks that are so important for students to be successful before they get on campus, because the first day of campus, when you move into the residence halls and the first day of class, can be a scary time. And any of us, regardless if we were first generation, a legacy generation, or anything like that, we all have those emotions the first day that we arrive on campus of, am I going to fit in? What is this going to look like? What is this going to be? All this new freedom that I have, but I really don't want all that freedom now.
Yeah.
And so that was really the purpose of camp. And you did such a great job of getting those students to really feel comfortable with themselves and then also with others. And it really set a great backdrop, and we're seeing that the students that attended camp actually are achieving higher retention rates than those students that didn't attend. But overall, our retention rates at Angelo State are improving dramatically, and that's what we're after, because then that leads to higher graduation rates.
Mm-hmm.
More importantly, it leads to happy, healthy students, and
Right.
That's what I want at Angelo State.
Absolutely. Well, and plus later in life, if you have a college degree, the likelihood of you being unemployed and not being able to find a job is cut by like 80% from if you just had a high school diploma. So it is a massive difference to have that college degree. And I know the more you continuing advancing your education, I think the unemployment rate for people that have a doctorate like you do is like 1%.
Right.
And those people are probably just a little off their rocker if they can't find a job with a doctorate. So,
Well, I would question what is wrong. However, you're absolutely right. And I think especially for first generation college students, but for all students, once you earn that college degree, you change your family tree.
Oh, yeah.
Because we always have folks looking up to us. Mm-hmm. And I tell students all the time that, my role is to reach back to generations that are following me and put my hand out so that they can hold my hand and I can guide them forward. But then when they get to the point where I'm at, they need to reach back as well. And help others coming through. So it's all about giving back.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're creating a legacy in doing that. And just plug for Angelo State, that's where I got my bachelor's degree. Graduated in 1994 with a degree in communication. Absolutely loved going to school there. It was such an amazing experience. So many things on campus, even in the 1990s, they were just a blast. And my wife and I both graduated from there. Really haven't had any trouble with employment since then, so that's a good thing. And then I'm back in a master's program in applied psychology, which is an online program at ASU. So for any of you watching that are going, gosh, I don't know if I have time or I don't know if I can, you really need to check out Angelo State and look at their master's programs, look at their online stuff. It's been phenomenal because I've got people in class that are in Houston and San Antonio and Austin and Lubbock. We even got one in the applications of IO psychology that I'm in that's in another country that's getting their master's. So it's really awesome, and the teachers are phenomenal. Really, really phenomenal. So
they are good.
All right, so I'm going to start into the interview questions here. So my first question I have for you is, when you think about success, how is it that you define success?
So for me, success is when I set a goal and I'm able to achieve that goal. And not only achieve the goal, but then I also reflect back on the achievement and make sure that I didn't leave anyone behind and that no one was injured or negatively impacted by achieving that goal. Because to achieve the goal for myself, it really doesn't do it any good. The goal needs to benefit the great community and everyone else that I work with. And I say work with, but even in my personal life, anyone that I touch.
Right.
And we have to have goals. Do we want a new church building at church? Well, that's a goal.
Yeah.
So, how are we going to do that, to achieve that? Or a personal goal, I want to qualify for Boston. Yeah. So that's great. But if I forget about my work and forget about my family, then that goal is really not worth achieving. So, I have to balance everything out. So I think it's balancing the different components of my life and achieving the goal that is set before me.
Yeah, and I would say I heard another CEO describe it very similar when he said, anytime you've got something here that you want to accomplish, and here's your timeline to get there, if you hit those two things, oh my gosh, you've got an amazing life. He then went on to say, though, I've never missed a goal in my life, ever. He said, I have changed that timeline quite a few times, but I've never missed the goal.
Exactly. Well, qualifying for Boston has been a dream of mine since I ran my first marathon in 2007. But here we are, many years later, almost 10 years later. Well, I guess it was 10 years in April. And so now I'm going, okay, so maybe now's the time to go ahead, and I may move that timeline a few more years.
Yeah. Well, I think you'll get it. Knowing you and knowing just how driven you seem to be, just reading through your bio there, I have no doubt that you'll achieve the goal that you set for yourself. So there are times, though, that you start to struggle, that you kind of have those, God, how am I going to make it through this? How am I going to push beyond this? When you hit those times, those tough times or the worst times, what is it that you do to push through them?
So, we all have life crucibles. And sometimes we have more than one life crucible. So being academically suspended was a life crucible. Living in an abandoned schoolhouse and living in poverty where you open the refrigerator and it's empty or the electricity gets turned off or things like that. Those are situations where you either look at life as a creator or you look at life as a victim. Yeah. And as a victim, you can say, well, woe is me, and the world's against me, and that's why I live in poverty, and that's why I was academically suspended. Or you can look at it as a creator and go, so I don't like this environment. I did something or I didn't do enough that led to this. What do I need to do to change my environment? And so I think for me, I'm always analyzing myself.
Right.
And not just in those tough times, because I think tough times, you see the picture a little more clear. Mm-hmm. But it's at the times of success that you can forget to look at and do those analysis of yourself.
Yeah.
And get back to where you were at that you didn't want to be. But certainly the tough times has always been, I need to look at life in a positive aspect. I need to be a tougher person. I need to be a different person. I need to do things differently to achieve those goals that I have and learn from the experience that I just went through. Because if you don't learn through those tough times, then you're not growing.
Right.
And you have to always continue to grow. So, it's hard to remain positive, but I always try to look at, so what's the silver lining? What's the positive aspect of this? When I was academically suspended, the positive thing was that Texas Tech gave me another opportunity and said, we're going to give you a little bit of support, but you're going to have to do things differently, and we're going to teach you how to do those things differently. And I did. And so, I went on and earned a master's degree, and they even accepted me for a doctorate program and awarded me a degree.
That's awesome. Well, you said two things that really struck me. One of the things was that you described that kind of from a psychology standpoint, the locus of control, whether it was internal, I'm in control, I'm going to make a choice here, or external, it's my circumstances, I can't do anything about it. So you had the situation of growing up in poverty, or the situation of being academically suspended, and those were moments when, from what it sounds like, you said, okay, I am going to decide that I can do something about this. And so I love that aspect. And then the other thing that really caught me is you talked about attitude. You can face any situation. You can be in poverty and be happy, or you can be in poverty and be unhappy. The poverty is the situation. The attitude is a choice. So I love that you chose the attitude, because when you choose that attitude in combination with that internal locus of control, it makes it so much easier for you to go, you know what? I can do something about this, and I'm going to do something about this. So I love that. That's awesome.
Good. And I'll even add that, even looking back at those memories, I don't have bitter memories of living in poverty.
Yeah.
I celebrate the fact that I did live in poverty, and I learned so much from that. And that my parents, always were, you've got to work hard. Whatever you do, you have to work hard, and always accept your weaknesses and your errors and move forward on those, and don't blame anyone else. And those are characteristics that I honed when I was growing up, but they will remain true until the day that I take my last breath, I think.
Yeah, no, I would totally agree. That's awesome. Next question I've got for you is, when you think about the things that stress you out, what is it that keeps you awake at night, or what problems just kind of go, I've got to figure this one out?
Well, they're work related, and it's that we're not reaching the students that are very similar to me and my circumstances. So, living and food insecurities are still a very real reality in university settings and college settings. Yeah. First-gen students that qualify for full Pell, or maybe they don't qualify for financial aid at all, but their parents really can help them. And so they're working 1 or 2 jobs. And this month, the car broke down. And so they have to spend that money, and they don't have money to eat. Or, they're bouncing from one sofa to another because they don't really have rent money for their senior year. And I mean, those are things that I lived my senior year at Texas Tech. And so I stay up at night thinking, how are we helping? How are we reaching? Because the first part is informing people. And I'm always like, how are we informing people, our students, that we have this, we care about you, and we want to be able to help you. So go somewhere. The last thing I want you to do is to not say anything to anyone and just choose to drop out of school or choose to just give up. Don't do that. Let us help you. And then, I just think, am I supporting my staff enough? Am I doing enough? And same thing with my family. Am I balancing my career and my family life together? And my son just got married last weekend, and so even thinking about, I hope I taught him everything he needed to know to be a good husband and things like that. So it's so many things that keep me awake.
Yeah.
And I think that's the reason why I wake up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning and go for a run, so that I can process everything, so that when I am at work, I am focused and I am ready to serve others, and I am not filled with all of my concerns in my head, in my emotion.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. I mean, it's, number one, you do have to have that way that you process, and exercise is a great way to do that because it releases all the right chemicals in your brain so that you can go, okay, I got this. But I definitely know what you mean about worrying about your kids. Like, did I teach them everything that I'm supposed to? Because I think that's been the thing that probably stressed me more than anything else is, have I done it? Have I gotten everything right? And I think the honest truth is there's no way we can teach them everything they need to know. And going back to what you said a minute ago, sometimes we have to make mistakes. We have to go through those tough times because, like you said, it opens your awareness and it makes you really focus on, okay, I got to do it different. I got to change here. So
you're absolutely right. Everyone has to have at least one life crucible or more, because then you're not growing.
Right. So I've had a few of mine. I'm glad I'm past those. And I know I'll have a few more, but just like you, I'll be ready with a good attitude. Yeah. So, okay, so I know that you had to have put a lot of really cool things in place in your life in order to get through those life crucibles and to move into the position that you're in, and then also to really expand the reach of Angelo State, like you're talking about, and creating that awareness in other areas. What are some of the habits that you have of success that really position you to accomplish what you want to accomplish?
I think and I don't know that it's a habit, but a skill is, I am very intuitive. And to be intuitive, you have to listen to people.
Yes.
So when someone is telling me something, I am listening to everything that they're telling me. And then the other skill or habit that I have is I consider myself a broker. So I'm always thinking, okay, so this person said they need this, and this person said they need this, and there's some commonalities in those. I need to bring them together and then let them go forward and work through that. But I've brokered a relationship so they can be successful. And so even, across the university, even in my own division, in the Student Affairs and Enrollment Management division, I feel like I'm always brokering relationships because I have one-on-ones once a month with my direct reports. Yeah. And then I have staff meeting with the executive direct reports in my division or in the Division of Student Affairs and Enrollment Management. And then I have a staff meeting with all the directors in Student Affairs and Enrollment Management. And so that's I think, again, a habit is that I've set up strategic meetings.
Yeah.
Here's a one-on-one, then it's a smaller group, and then it's a bigger group. And then the other is, okay, so the last week of the month, we just focus on whatever we need to focus. And then I have weekly briefings that I receive from them. So in their own words, they tell me what was going on this past week. What did we achieve? What did we fail to achieve? What was good? What was bad? And so, again, it's listening to all those things. And then myself going, how can I support that? And strategically, what do I need to be doing? Am I providing a vision of where we are wanting to go and where we want to be? And so I think that's probably one of my biggest habits, is that I'm always thinking strategic. And then I'm always looking at environments. I love to visit other campuses. I serve on accrediting committees with the Southern Association of Colleges and Universities Schools on Commission on Schools, SACS. And so I go and visit those. And so I've analyzed those schools to see if they're in compliance with the accreditation process. But more than anything, I look to see what components do they have that I would love for us to have, and then how can I come back and have this vision?
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, communication is a habit. And when you design the meetings that way, you were designing a communication strategy to make sure you kept them motivated, you kept them informed, and you kept them moving forward. So I think it's awesome. Great habit. Last question I've got for you is, what is the best lesson that you've learned related to success that you could share with people who watch the show? So what is it that if you could just pass on one nugget of do this and it will really help?
Never think that you achieve success on your own. There have been many people around you, past and present, that help you with success. And so you need to be aware of that and make sure that they share in your success and that they know that part of the reason you've been successful is because of their hard work.
Yeah.
And so I think thanking people always, because you can't achieve anything alone. And, we've all read the motivational, there is no I in team and all those things. But those are things that we sometimes forget when we're in the thick of it, or when you are successful and you're getting accolades, and and that's great. But behind every leader, there are other leaders, and there are people that are working hard for you to make sure that that becomes a reality.
Yeah, no, I think that's amazing. The collaboration piece of it. If you look at, let's say, research projects at a university level, I was reading in the book, The Psychology of Creativity, that it's now like 47 different people that will typically collaborate on one big research project. Whereas if you went back 50 years, it was 2. So we're getting more and more collaborative. And going back to one of your answers earlier, where we were talking about making sure that people are aware of what's available to help them, I think when you combine that together and you do realize we don't get here alone. There's no way to get anywhere just completely on your own. You need other people's support, you need encouragement, you need the resources they have, you need the things they've put into place. So I agree with you completely. You're not alone, and don't ever think that you're going to get there alone. Always collaborate with other people. So,
that's right.
Would you like to give a guilt-free plug for why people should go to Angelo State?
Well, Angelo State University is, as you had mentioned, is a great place. And I think the reason I say it's great is because we have created a family atmosphere. Mm-hmm. And that really is not just something that I'm saying. We use the term RAMFAM frequently here at Angelo State, and I tell parents and students, RAMFAM is not a slogan, it's actually a culture. Mm-hmm. And very much like the word aloha in Hawaii, and I've never been to Hawaii, but I've researched the word aloha, and aloha by the natives is more than just a greeting or a salutation. It's really more a term that I love you. It's an enduring term.
Yeah.
And so for us, the RAM-FAM term is an enduring term that says, we are going to help you achieve your goals and your dreams. And we take care of our own. It's a culture of success. It's a culture of overcoming obstacles and challenges, because we have all had them. But it is a culture of we take care of our own, and we care about our students.
Absolutely. And you can tell, too, when you walk around the campus, you kind of feel that welcoming when you're there. Check out Angelo State. Regardless of how old you are, you're never too old to go back and get another degree.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, all right. Well,
the younger students need you in the classroom, because that's how they learn as well.
Yeah, I am the odd, shiny, bald guy when I go to a class, but but I'm not as odd as I used to be. There's a whole lot of people that really are going back and going, okay, I've always wanted that master's, because I remember in '94 when I graduated from there, I said, I'm going to get a master's degree. Well, I didn't start my master's degree again until 2015, and my plan is to graduate in December of 2017. But it was a really long time before I came back, and I have a kid in college and another one taking junior college classes. Like, I better get this done before this gets any more expensive.
That's right.
But I will tell you, Angelo has a car academic scholarship, which I have an amazing scholarship in my master's. They take the last 60 hours of your college, and that's how they determine academically whether or not you get access to some of that money. And that's been really helpful.
Well, we invest over $6.5 to $7 million a year in just the car foundation.
Wow.
And that's both for undergrad and grad students. So it is certainly affordable. Last May, and I haven't received the data from the graduating class this May, but last May, we had 37% of the students that crossed the stage were completely debt-free when they crossed the stage.
That's amazing. That really is amazing. And I did a comparison just kind of prepping for this. You guys are listed in the top 3 most affordable universities in the state of Texas. So, thought that was pretty awesome.
It would be number 1.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see that I'm competitive as well.
Yeah. Well, you're $100 cheaper than West Texas A&M. So, that's still cheaper.
So.
Awesome. Well, Javier, I have really enjoyed it. I want to thank you for being on the show. I want to remind you guys that are watching, check out the show, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just look for Jody Holland Training. Follow me on Twitter at Jody N. Holland, and look for me on Facebook. Just search for Jody Holland Training there as well. Look forward to having our next guest coming up next week. Make sure that you go out and find Javier on LinkedIn as well. I'm going to give him a little plug to follow you there. Thank you guys for being on here, and we will talk to you next time.
You've been listening to Are You Real? The Psyche of Success, and we know you found value in the show, so it's time to find even more value on our website. Be sure to visit areyoureal.org and click on Podcast for insights, free training videos, show notes, and more. Again, that's areyoureal.org and click on Podcast.